Hello, baseball fans. Anthony with Bleacher Bums Gaming, and today we're coming to you from the Houston Astrodome beside my colleague, half-tanked Harry Carey, even though the game hasn't started yet. And we're here for game 29, or start 29, of the 1969 Fergie Jenkins payoff pitch replay, featuring the outstanding game payoff pitch by Joe Bryan, available at sidelinestrategy.com. And in this game, the Astros, who actually hammered Fergie in real life 9-3 in this game, played on August 4th, 1969, and they're going to look to replicate that feat. Basically, some numbers of the replay at this point coming into this game in real life: Fergie was 14-9 with a 2.88 ERA, 209 and 2/3 innings pitched, had given up 180 hits, 44 walks, 182 strikeouts, and 18 dingers. In the replay, Fergie, a little bit ahead of pace, is 18-6 with a 2.01 ERA. He has 224 and 1/3 innings pitched, has given up 165 hits, 31 walks, 189 Ks, and 13 long balls. And in games that Fergie has started in real life at this point, the Cubs were 17-11, and in the replay they are 20-8, so 3 games ahead of the pace there. Let's get straight to the action. Our lineups, first of all, for the visiting Cubs, the standard fare. Don Kessinger leads off at short, Glenn Beckert at second, sweet swinging Billy Williams in left field, Ron Santo at third, Ernie Banks at first, Randy Hundley takes his spot behind the plate, Jim Hickman in right, and Jim Qualls in center, and of course Fergie on the mound. For the homestanding Astros, it's Sandy Valdespino in left, Joe Morgan at second base, the toy cannon Jimmy Wynn in center, Kurt Blefary at first, Dennis Menke at short, Norm Miller in right, Doug Radar at third, Johnny Edwards in catching, and on the hill for the Astros, Tom Griffin. And Griffin had a record of 11-10 with a 3.54 ERA in 1969, and again he did get the better of Fergie in this game. So let's get straight to the action. All the formalities out of the way. Kessinger set to lead it off. And it's going to be a ballpark check coming right out of the gate. And Kessinger, who is a switch hitter against a right-hander, and that is going to be in play. And that's going to be a ground ball down to shortstop, and Menke takes care of that. So quick out to start the game. Kessinger on a 1-1 pitch, grounding out to short, brings up Glenn Beckert, Cubbies second baseman. And we're going to have a tough result, and Beckert on tough. And that is going to be a fly ball to right field, coming in to take care of that. Norm Miller, and a routine pop there. 2 quick outs for Griffin and the Astros. Sweet swinging Billy Williams up. And Williams on the tough chart as well, and 65 is going to be a ground ball to Menke. So Menke, 2 of the 3 outs in this inning. 3 up, 3 down go the Cubs. As we head to the bottom of the first inning, Fergie on the hill, Stroh's coming to bat, no score. Sandy Valdespino. And Valdespino against right-handers hit 250 in 1969. Fergie gets the pitch, and that's going to be patient, and a patient fly ball to right field. Can of corn out there for Jim Hickman, 1 down. Fergie gets the ball back. Joe Morgan going through his chicken dance imitation in the batter's box. Here comes the pitch from Fergie, and that's going to be an in-play result, and Morgan singles right back up the middle. So the Astros have the first runner of the game, and Joe, he is a threat to run, 6B, and behind the plate, Randy Hundley has a 2-arm. Signs are going out. So it looks like, should we do this? Yeah, we're going to do it. Morgan's going to get a lead, and here comes the pitch. Joe Morgan goes, and 95, and he is in there easily. Stolen base for Joe Morgan. So Astros have a runner in scoring position. And I'm just going to do stolen bases as a manager would in real life, being frugal for both teams. So one down, runner on second base in a toy cannon, Jimmy Wynn and tough, and Fergie gets tough with him, a slider on the outside corner, ring him up, back to the dugout he goes, 2 down. So Fergie exceptional with runners in scoring position, Kurt Blefary the batter, and the Astros first baseman, and he's going to smack that into right field, going back a few steps, and pulling that in is Hickman. So Fergie, the single and stolen base don't come back to haunt him as we are through the first inning, no score, heading to the second, and Ron Santo, the Cubbies cleanup hitter, set to hit. And 5 against Griffin's going to be patient, 85, and that's going to be a ground ball to Menke again. So the Astros shortstop busy early in this one as Griffin has set down the first 4 Cubs he's faced. And that brings up to Mr. Cubby, who, if you've listened to this telecast, you know I have the pleasure to meet when I lived in LA for a couple of years back in the mid-80s. So defensive check, and using the fast action cards, and it is going to be an error check on the first baseman, and first baseman Blefary has a error rating of 2, and he's going to make that play easily. So nice stab of that. He takes that to the base unassisted, and 2 down, brings up Randy Hundley, the Cubs catcher. Hundley has been a star in this replay. Actually, I think he leads the Cubs in home runs in Fergie starts. It's going to be a tough result, and tough result's going to be a fly ball to center field. Camping under that's Jimmy Wynn. So Griffin, no problem early in this one. He's set down the first 6 Cubbies he's faced. As we head to the bottom of the second inning, Dennis Menke leads it off against Jenkins. Here comes a pitch and a defensive check for the Cubbies. And it's going to be an error check on Kessinger, who is a 5, an exceptional shortstop, and he gets to that. Whips out across the diamond of Banks and an easy put out, 6-3. 1 down for the Stros. Norm Miller comes up. And the Astros right field are going to be a tough result off of Fergie's card, and 54, and that's going to be a single. Oh, my bad. No, wrong column, 54. That's going to be a fly out to left field, so 2 down. One thing I am going to do with the next set I order is get the color cards. I don't know why I didn't get color with the 69 set. It's like a $5 difference, and no reason to be cheap. It makes the card reading much easier, I think. So in play result to Radar, and he's going to fly that into center field. Going to his left is Qualls, and 3 up, 3 down for the Stros in the second. And that brings up Jim Hickman to lead off the third. I'm actually debating between 2 seasons for my next set, which we'll talk about that during our 7th inning. Normally would be our fun fact time during this replay today. Ballpark check, and 58 for Hickman, and that's going to be an in-play result. The Astrodome, of course, is a cavern, definitely a pitcher's ballpark, but Hickman is able to single that, loop that just over the second baseman's head, so the Cubbies have their first base runner, first hit of the game. As Hickman on at first base brings up Jim Qualls. Griffin gets the ball back in, and a tough result on that defensive check again. And it's going to be a range play. Second base, and Joe Morgan for the Stros. He is a C. And result of 81, he's going to get to that easily. And that's going to be a double play, actually. So a nice play at second base. 4-6-3 goes the put out, and Cubbies 2 outs, and Griffin back to the minimum 8 batters as Fergie steps in. Fergie's had some good games in this replay. It's going to be a patient result, and 42 is going to be a pop fly to shortstop. So Fergie is retired, and the Cubs get their first hit. Strand nobody. We're heading to the bottom of the third inning, still looking for our first score in this one. And, of course, the 1969 season definitely favored the pitchers as Johnny Edwards set to hit for the Stros, and it's going to be an in-play result, and Edwards fly ball to center field. Can of corn out there for Qualls. 1 quick out, and that brings up Tom Griffin, the Astros pitcher. I'm expecting to strike out here. Tough swing and a miss. No challenge. as 3 straight pitches send Griffin back to the bench, and Fergie's second strikeout. Back to the top of the order, Sandy Valdespino. And again, a tough result, and 36. Ring him up, Johnny, and Fergie strikes out 2 in the inning. 3 up, 3 down go the Astros as we head to the 4th inning. As usual, Fergie on the hill. Game is flying, 0-0, and Don Kessinger set to lead it off for the Cubbies. And that's going to be a defensive check, and that will be a bad result no matter what it is. Range play on the pitcher, and Hickman is a D, and he is not going to get to that. That's going to be a single past him up the middle. So Kessinger has a Cubbies second hit. And he debates stealing, decides not to. Instead, Cubs are going to play a little bit of hit and run here. So here comes a pitch to Beckert, and he gets into that, 38. And 38 is going to be a ground ball down to second base. Kessinger's going to advance, but Morgan on the putout. So 1 down, runner in scoring position for sweet swinging Billy Williams, the Cub legend. And Williams, 21 home runs in 1969. Here comes a pitch, patient, and he's going to draw a base on balls there. So first walk of the game for Griffin, and the Cubbies in business. Runners on first and second for Ron Santo, 1 down. Here comes a pitch, and tough, swing and a miss, and Griffin just blows Santo away. Gets him on the high heat. Santo can't catch up to that. Ernie Banks, the batter. Runners on first and second, 2 outs. Can Mr. Cubby come through in the clutch? And that's going to be a tough result, and unfortunately it will be a fly ball to center field. That's a routine play out there for Wynn. So the Cubbies threaten with a hit and a walk. But Griffin rises to the occasion. We are heading to the bottom of the 4th. Still looking for our first tally in this one as Joe Morgan steps up to face Fergie. And Fergie going to be in play result, and Joltin' Joe grounds that right back up the middle, and that's his second hit of the day. And Morgan going to stay put at first base. Jimmy Wynn, the batter, the toy cannon. He had a total of 33 home runs, and that's going to be a patient result, and 56, and that's going to be a base on balls. So Fergie faltering just a little bit here in the bottom of the 4th. No out. Runners on first and second. The left-handed hitting Kurt Blefary up. Jenkins gets the sign. Here comes a pitch. A big batter here, and that's going to be a tough result. And that will be a ground ball down to second base, and 9. That's over Fergie's double play rating and Blefary. So that is going to advance the runners to second, third, as Beckert only has 1 play, and that's over to first base. So 1 down, but the Astros threatening. Runners in scoring position. Dennis Menke, the batter. Astros shortstop steps in, and I'm going to roll that again. Still turned out 7, and that's in play, and that's going to be a single. So going to the fast action cards, which I use for base running advancements and other things, errors. And that is going to be a grounder up the middle. A runner on first advances to base. Runners on second score. So everybody comes in, and the Astros are out to a 2-0 lead off Fergie with a 1-out single by Menke here in the 4th inning. And that could be huge. Griffin is pitching a great game. That brings up Norm Miller. And Jenkins, not used to pitching from behind. And wheelhouse, and Miller gets into that, and that ball is deep, and it is gone. 3 feet over the wall in right field, and it is 4-0 just like that. Norm Miller and the Astros tagging Fergie here in the 4th inning. And Jenkins walks off the mound disgustingly as Miller circles a base as a 2-run shot. So 4-0, and it's going to be tough for the Cubbies to come back. And as in real life, this was a blowout for the Astros, and Fergie facing the same fate. So 1 out, base is cleared, and another ballpark check, and that's going to be in play result for Doug Rader. And the hits just keep on coming as Rader singles into left field, and that's going to bring a pause for the Cubbies. And coming out to the mound, Hundley, he's going to have a word with Fergie Jenkins. trying to settle him down, and the Astros just teeing off here in the fourth. Johnny Edwards, the batter. And 6, it's going to be a tough result and ground ball down to second base. And that is finally going to get him out of the inning. So a 4-6-3 double play, but a lot of damage coming through as the Astros strike for 4 runs on 4 hits. Leave a runner, and we are through 4. 4's everywhere. It's 4-0, Astros in the lead. So top of the 5th inning, and Cubbies need to start making hay, or it's going to be an L for Fergie Jenkins, something that has not happened much in this replay. And going to be a tough result, and Randy Hundley frozen as that catches the outside corner. Strike 3, back to the dugout he goes. Tom Griffin starts the 5th in fine form, and that brings up Jim Hickman. And wheelhouse result 66, and that is gone. Hickman, no doubt about that. Even in this cavernous ballpark, he put a charge into that, and Cubbies finally on the board as Hickman drives out well over the left field wall. So HR puffing stuff for Hickman, and Cubbies on the board, 4-1, Stros in the lead. Jim Qualls the batter. And 8's going to be tough, and 35, and Qualls is going to fight that off for a single. So now Griffin appears to be rattled, and Jenkins up, only the 5th inning, so they're going to let him hit. With 1 out, he won't bunt. 7's going to be a tough result, and Fergie Griffin, angry, strikes out his counterpart, so 2 outs. And maybe should have had him bunt there, but yeah. Either way, it would have been 2 outs. Back to the top of the order for Don Kessinger, and that's going to be a ballpark result, 16. And again in play, tough to get wheelhouse in the dome here. But Kessinger, he's going to single, and with 2 outs, that'll be an automatic 2-base advance. So runners at the corners. And the Cubbies, as they often do for Fergie, looking to rally here and get him back into the game. 4-1 right now, but the inning's not over. Patient. And Becker at 47, and just misses getting hit by a pitch. Instead, that's going to be a fly ball to right field. And inning is over as Norm Miller comes in to make that play. But the Cubbies get on the board, strike for 3 hits and a run, leave 2. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning, halfway through this game. Astros lead at 4-1. And Griffin's going to lead off the 5th inning for the Astros. 6 will be tough, and Jenkins, no mercy on his counterpart. Second time he has fanned Griffin. Back to the top of the order. And Sandy Valdespino today, 0 for 2, has struck out and flown out to right field. Here comes a pitch, and that'll be a ballpark result, and again in play. And Valdespino, it's going to be a ground ball down to Beckert at second base, whips it over to Banks. So Fergie back in the groove. 2 outs here in the 5th for Joe Morgan. And Morgan has had his number today, and he's got it again. That's another single, this time a line drive between first and second. So Morgan 3 for 3 against Fergie, and he has scored a run, stolen a base. And they're going to send him again with a big lead. Here comes a pitch, and coming up throwing. And Randy Hundley guns him down, so Joe Morgan caught stealing at second base, and that ends the inning. A hit for the Astros, but no more damage as we are through 5. Astros lead the Cubbies 4-1. And Morgan regrets that as Billy Williams set to lead it off here in the 6th inning against Griffin, who is still strong. And tough result, 71. That's going to be a ground ball down to shortstop. Menke takes care of that. 1 away, and Ron Santo, the Cubbies cleanup hitter, steps up to the dish. Santo today, 0 for 2, has struck out and grounded out to Menke previously. And that's going to be a ballpark check. And again, in play, and 44 in play is going to be a ground ball down to first base. 3-1 on the putout there. As the underhand toss, Bleffery to Griffin, and 2 outs for Mr. Cubby, Ernie Banks. Banks today is 0 for 2. He's grounded out to Menke, flown out to center field. And tough result, and this time he's not even going to get wood on the ball as Griffin, inside fastball, and Banks is frozen. 3 outs. So 3 up, 3 down in the 6th. We're heading to the bottom of the frame, still 4-1. Astros in the lead. And the toy cannon, Jimmy Wynn, steps in against Fergie, and Fergie will probably be out of the game. Well, he will be out of the game if the Cubs don't rally next time he comes up. And 8's going to be a tough result. 76 and fly ball to center field. So Jim Qualls takes care of Wynn, his counterpart. And Blefary, the batter, is flown out to right, grounded out to second base. And 10, and that's going to be an in-play result, 62. Ground ball down to shortstop. So Kessinger retires Blefary, and that brings up Dennis Menke. And Menke drove in 2 runs his last time up, a 2-run single. Fergie gets a sign, and going to be a defensive check. And I was missing my Don Drysdale card, and he was in the fast action deck for some strange reason. So that's going to be a range check on second base, and that's going to be no problem out there for Becker to 99. He makes a play. So 3 up, 3 down as Fergie back on track, and we head to the top of the 7th inning. Astros clinging to a 4-1 lead in this one. And Randy Hundley set to lead it off against Griffin. Griffin has a fatigue rating of 8, and at this rate he'll be good for a complete game if he doesn't give up more than another run. So 6 going to be tough, and Hundley 55, and that's going to be a fly ball to right field. And circling under that to make the putout is Norm Miller. Jim Hickman, the batter, 1 down. Griffin giving up 5 hits thus far to the Cubs, 3 of them in the 5th inning when they brought a attempted rally to get back in the game for Fergie. And 81 is going to be a ground ball down to shortstop. Menke takes care of that, 2 away. So Qualls the batter, and if he gets on, we will see a pinch hitter for Fergie, and he is probably going to get on, and patient, and 0-8 is going to be a double. So Qualls loops that into the left field, short into left field into foul territory, and he's going to get into second base without a throw. So Fergie, his day is going to be done. He goes 6 innings today. Gives up only 6 hits, but unfortunately 4 runs, all of them earned. Walks a single batter, gives up a home run, and ends the day with 4 strikeouts on the day, so definitely not one of his better performances. Really, actually, only 1 bad inning. Pinch hitting is going to be Paul Popovich, and we are going to have Ted Abernathy is going to come in and take his spot. So Popovich, the pinch hitter. And we are set. 2 down, runner in scoring position for the Cubs. Pop looking to keep it going. And here comes a pitch, and that's going to be patient, and 34. Popovich going to draw a base on balls. So he does his job, heads down to first, and back to the top of the order, Don Kessinger. 2 away, and Cubbies need a hit here. Maybe get Fergie off the hook, and that's going to be a patient result, and Kessinger's going to draw a walk, and the sacks are loaded. So Glenn Beckert set to be a hero. Let's see what he can do. Here comes a pitch. Wheelhouse. Beckert, the swing. And that's going to be a single, a 2-out single. That's going to bring in 2 runs. So the Cubbies have cut the lead to 4-3. Over to third base goes Kessinger. 2 out, 2 RBI single for Beckert, and sweet swinging Billy Williams. He can get Fergie off the hook or do enough to make him a winner here. Griffin struggling now. Here comes a pitch. And 5 is patient, 54, and that is going to be a ground ball down to first base. Menke's got that easily, going to take it to the bag himself and bails Griffin out of it. But the Cubbies, 2 hits and a couple of walks. They plate 2, and we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. It is 4-3. Astros clinging to the lead. And Abernathy on the hill to face Norm Miller, who has a 2-run blast in this game. So yeah, next set I was thinking of either 1985 or 1979. And right now leaning to 1979. Great season, great World Series. The We Are Family Pittsburgh Pirates, of course. And kind of like, I guess for a few of those, like Pop Stargell, their swan song, and some other good young players, Dave Parker. The Yankees, of course, I would probably do a Yankees replay if I got that season, even though they did not win the pennant, just to see how they would fare. So probably leaning towards that. Plus 79, I was 16, and 16 is an awesome year pretty much for everyone, and I definitely had a great summer that year. So it's probably going to be the next set after I finish this Fergie replay. I played a lot of 1969 games offline too, so probably we'll put the 69 season aside and then look to do something with the next set again. Most likely going to be 1979, 1985 still in the running. We'll see though. So, anywho, back to the game. Norm Miller set to hit against Ted Abernathy, and that'll be a patient result. In 78 will be a fly ball to center field. The Qualls takes care of. 1 out, and that brings up Doug Rader. And we'll see if Griffin stays on the hill. He can go 1 more inning without getting fatigued. We will probably leave him in, as a tough result results in a ground ball down to second base. Beckert over to Banks. B&B show, 2 outs. Johnny Edwards, the catcher, the batter. And actually it would behoove the Astros if he gets out here. And he's going to, as Abernathy swinging a miss. So 2-2 fastball, and Edwards can't catch up with that. 3 up, 3 down go the Astros. So they've been tamed since the 4th inning, but they are still in the lead. And next inning will definitely be Griffin's last, so we'll get a pinch hitter ready. Going to be Tommy Davis. And Fred Gladding actually Fred Gladding, who is the Astros closer, is going to come on and pitch next regardless of what happens. So Ron Santo and Griffin, that's going to be a defensive check and a bad result. That will be a range play in second base, and not able to get to that is second baseman Morgan. So Santo leads off the 8th with a single. And let's see if the Cubbies can claw back into this. Ernie Banks the batter, and patient result, and Banks, oh my goodness, and Banks singles. Going to the fast action cards, that's a hard grounder into right or left field. The runners advance 1, so first and second, and we're going to make the switch right now. So Griffin's day is done. 7 innings pitched, 9 hits, 3 runs all earned at this point, and really Wildness has done him in today. He has walked, well, I guess not too bad. He's walked 3 and struck out walked 3 and struck out 4 and gave up a home run. So his day is done, and to try and seal this will be the Astros closer, Gladding. And Gladding, 57 games in 1969, 4-8 with a 4.21 ERA, but he did have 29 saves. So he's in a pickle here, as he's going to start it off with Randy Hundley. Runners on first and second, nobody out. Going to be in play to Hundley, and just missed that, and that's going to be a line drive to shortstop. So a nice play out there by Menke. 1 down, runners scurry to get back to first and second respectively. Brings up Jim Hickman. And Hickman, tough result, and 72 is a fly ball into center field. Runners have to hold. And 2 outs, so Gladding facing Jim Qualls, getting the job done thus far. And 10, ballpark, wheelhouse, uh-oh, Qualls, a big cut, and that is going to be a harmless fly ball into left field. And plenty of room out there for Valdespino, so the threat is extinguished. So after 2 hits to start the inning, Gladding comes in, does his job, and the Cubs are set down 4-3, heading to the bottom of the 8th inning. And we're going to need another pinch hitter for the Cubbies. And that is going to be Don Young. But first, the business of getting rid of the Astros. Tommy Davis, pinch hitting for, oh God. Actually, we're going to have to rethink our strategy now. We want Gladding on the hill in the 9th, and he is a 3 pitcher's batting card. So yeah, he's going to hit for himself. We don't want to bring in any of the other Astros pitchers. Astros really did not have a strong pen that year. So Gladding actually going to have to hit for himself. Which on this card will pretty much be an insured out. 28 on patient. Actually just missed a sink, getting hit by a pitch there. And it's going to be a ground ball back to the pitcher. 1-3 on the putout. So back to the top of the order, Sandy Valdespino. And Astros looking for some insurance. 4 going to be ballpark, and that is wheelhouse. Valdespino, luckily not a very good power hitter, but that is going to be a fly ball into center field. So gave it a big rip, but plenty of room out there in center field for Qualls to make the play. Joe Morgan up 2 down now. And 5, tough result, 18. Morgan swinging a miss. Abernathy comes in and strikes out Morgan. So he is perfect, retires all 6 batters he faces. And we are heading to the top of the 9th. Cubbies need a rally. Gladding on the hill. Don Young, pinch hitter, is going to lead it off. Here we go. 4, tough, 12, struck him out. So Gladding strikes out the pinch hitter to start the 9th inning in style for the Stros. And the Cubs, their rally flame is burning dimmer as Don Kessinger steps up to the plate. And 4, that's going to be tough. 65, and Kessinger ground ball down to shortstop, or second base. I'll get it right. Joe Morgan on the play, and 2 quick outs, and the Cubbies down to their last out. Here comes a pitch, going to be in play. 40, and that's going to be ball game. Ground ball down to third base. Rader takes it to Hopper, fires it across the diamond to Blethry, and ball game over. 3 up, 3 down, and the Cubbies fall to the Astros 4-3. And really, Jenkins pitched a great game. The Astros only got 2 hits in this outside of the 4th inning. That's when all the damage was done, as a 2-run single by Menke and a 2-run home run by Norm Miller, who's going to get our player of the game honors in this one. So final line score for the Cubbies: a total of 3 runs, 9 hits, no errors. And the Astros, 4 runs, 6 hits, no errors. Your winning pitcher is going to be Tom Griffin, and Fred Gladding gets the save. Fergie Jenkins takes the loss and drops to 18-7 in this replay. So we will be back with start number 30, and as always, thanks for watching. Appreciate the support. Hope you enjoyed this game from the very hard surfaced and cookie cutter Astrodome. I know it was a ballpark that was ahead of its time, but my goodness, what a ugly place. Actually, really any of those stadiums, most of those stadiums, I should say, from the 60s and 70s were just terrible places to watch ball games in. Very, very much cookie cutter and just sterile, in my opinion, I guess is a good word for it. So they've done a much better job with the new ballparks that are kind of incorporate a lot of throwback stuff and a lot of cool perks. So definitely not a fan of the ballparks of this particular era. But regardless, start 29 in the books, and again, we're heading down the home stretch, and probably 1979, as mentioned, is going to be the next payoff pitch season I get, so that will be next once this is completed. We also have the 1908 Chicago White Sox replay going, and that's still in full force. Just did a 1976 Status Pro Advanced Game of the Week on the channel as well, and of course Glory Days Boxing, which you can also purchase at SidelineStrategy.com. And just released the middleweight set about a month ago, and working on the welterweight set currently, which will be released toward the end of February. And then after that, most likely a fictional set. It's a quick update on happenings on the channel, so hope everyone has a great weekend. Until next time, keep rolling for the fences, and we'll see you.